If someone is checked out from you, if they want to go, let them. I got to tell you this. And it was like, oh my God, I feel like I really need to do a whole video on this, because you don't want someone to stay with you out of pity or out of obligation, right? Your attachment style may want that. You may be like, well, I don't care why they're here as long as they're here. You deserve more than that mentally, right? And physically and everything else, because that is a good indicator of where you need to work on your own self-love. Okay. We can use every insecurity, every situation as a teachable moment if you allow it. Don't judge it. Don't be like, what's wrong with me? Why do I want to hold on to people who don't want to be with me? Because you got to be careful, because that's going to go into a victim state in your mind, a victim mentality. Got to be really careful of that, because you don't want to shift there, because then you'll go into that, well, but nobody wants to be with me. The person who needs to be with you at all times is you. And I know that sounds cliche. I know it sounds like, oh my God, it's super Gucci, or Gitchy, or Gucci, whatever. But it's imperative that you understand that you don't want to fit somebody into a box and manipulate them and guilt them into staying with you. You don't. That's not fair to them, and it is most certainly not fair to you. All right. So, and before you go, well, but then nobody wants to be with me. Okay. You got to stop doing that. It's not that nobody wants to be with you. It's that you're attaching your worth to other humans. You can't do that. That goes into your attachment style. I have a whole series here on my YouTube, and I think I even have a podcast on it, on the attachment styles. And it's important that you understand where that attachment issue comes from. Is it abandonment? Is it neglect? Is it whatever the case may be? Emotional unavailability of caregivers, things like that. Okay, we know the why. So you want to go to the deeper root of that, and you want to start working on healing that. Okay, but you do not. And this could be your own mother. This could be your mother. It could be your sister. It doesn't have to just be a love relationship. It could be friendship. It could be anything. Stop trying to make someone be with you. If they don't want to be there, let them go, because then promise you, it is not going to give you the outcome that you seek. You're going to get resentful. They're going to get resentful. You're going to be annoyed. They're going to be annoyed. You're going to feel neglected or like a burden. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I just don't want to be here. Now, I'm going to flip that back to you. Okay. Let's say it's not you that is like, I need. Let's say it's you checking out, right? Let's be honest. The certain versions of us outgrow other versions of people. You're not better than them. You're not less than them, but the version of you may outgrow someone, and that is okay. And they may outgrow you. Okay. It's not just about you. They may outgrow you. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That doesn't mean that you're less than. It just means that you're not on their journey. Stop attaching this worth to somebody else's actions. Now, going back to what I was saying, if it's you that's checked out and you go, well, but I don't want to hurt this person. And again, it doesn't just have to be love. It could be a sibling. It could be a friend. It could be, you're doing the damage already by not wanting to be there and staying out of the fear or out of some weird obligation of not hurting them. You're going to have to hurt them, because that's going to be temporary. That's a temporary. And first of all, you're not hurting them. You're creating an action that is freeing you up. Okay. Let's be clear here. Yes, you're creating an action that is freeing you up. You're doing what feels good for you. They may not see it that way initially, but what you're doing is you're freeing them up for someone else and someone who's a better fit for them. So you're going to have to let them hurt, just like they have to let you hurt. So if somebody is outgrown you, the version of them has outgrown that relationship, things like that. Again, not better, just outgrown. And they tell you, you're allowed to be hurt. You're allowed to go through your feelings. Do not attach your worth on someone not wanting to be with you. That is a telltale sign of attachment. That's not love. And wanting to be with someone and wanting to be with someone is attachment. You don't need to be with them. Remember, you are the foundation of every relationship that you will ever have. So you can base the relationships that you have with other people based on the self-esteem that you have within yourself. Okay. And I think that's the important factor for you. And you also cannot allow yourself to be manipulated into, well, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to do this if we're not together. That's not your responsibility. Okay. Your responsibility is not to make somebody want to stay on this planet. It is not your responsibility, and it's not theirs. And you have to understand, when you have that attachment, when you have the insecurities and the attachment, it's going to create expectations. The expectations, and then in your mind, you're like, well, if I do this, they'll do this. Now you start story playing. I'll do this, then I'll do this. And this is what I think is going to happen. This is my expectation. But you're dealing with other human beings that are not in that same brain space. The only reality that you ever have is the one within your brain, right? And when you lose that, then you're not here anymore. Like, your consciousness is gone, but you're not in charge of anybody else's consciousness. Be there, be supportive. But at the end of the day, don't try to force someone and force a relationship, because then you're getting into the attachment of what you think the relationship should be. The relationship with my mom should be, no, that's what you want it to be, but it just isn't. You can mourn it, you can grieve it, but you got to accept it. Stop trying to convince everybody to have this relationship that you seek. It isn't, everybody has their own versions. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. Now, you don't have to tolerate it. If you're like, okay, well, this doesn't fit my narrative, then you're going to have to radically accept that this is how it is. That relationship with mom may not be the way you want it. The relationship with your spouse may not be the way you want it. The relationship with your friend may not be the way you want it. Accept it for what it is, and then say, okay, is what I'm getting, is that at least enough? Not holding on to the scraps, but is that inspiring? Is it trying to better me? You know, if it's not entertaining you, if it's not inspiring you, if it's not educating you, then is it really worth your time? And vice versa. You've got to stop. If someone breaks up with you, or someone, and in any sense, not just a relationship, friendship, anything like that, it doesn't mean that you're less than. It just means that you're not meant to be on their journey. And going back to what I said, you've got to free someone else up so they can go and find someone and find a situation that is best suited for them. All right. Again, people, you don't want to not live your life based on somebody else's expectation. And this, like I said, this is especially important for family. I mean, it's going to be important for any relationship, but it is especially important for family. Just because somebody carries an expectation of you, you don't have to fulfill that expectation. If it's not serving you, listen, self-love is not selfish, but people who aren't doing it will tell you it is. They're going to judge you. They're going to say you're extra. They're going to say, oh my gosh, you think you're better than me. They're going to go through this rigmarole with you. It's only going to affect you if you allow it to. Because, I mean, listen, nobody really wants to be broken up with. Nobody really wants to be distanced. But you have to understand it's not your responsibility to make them comfortable with your choices, and vice versa. All right. So these are some things for you to think about. And it's really good. I want you, a little call to action here. I want you to look around you right now, like not physically, but like in the relationships that you have, spouses, friends, family. I want you to look around and say, am I trying to hold on to a relationship and make it how I want it to be? And if in fact I'm getting something, a little something out of it, where can I work to accept it for as it is, not how I want it to be? And then say, you got self-awareness here. Am I trying to manipulate, not to be vicious or vindictive, but am I trying to manipulate it to be the way I want it? Because the only person who that's going to harm is you. Because you're the only person who is on that same path as you is you. All right. You can have the same core values. You can have the same destiny. But listen, everybody in life is just, we're living this life, but we're all wearing different shoes on this journey. We're all going to the exact same place, but as far as end goal, but we're all wearing different shoes. And sometimes we're going to have to take detours, and sometimes we're going to have to forge our own path. And it may not be a path that other people are going to be on. But I want you to say, am I holding on to an idea of what I want? And can I accept this relationship for what it is? Because then your relationships get stronger. When you start to accept someone for who they are and where they are in your life, now you are getting into that emotional maturity, and you're creating better relationships. To give somebody the autonomy of living how they choose and respecting it for how it is, I promise you, it creates so many better, so many better relationships, so much better relationships. Better relationships. How's that? That sounds way better than both. But so that's a little indication of where you still need to work, and then lean heavy into that, and let's do the work.